So I just finished filming Newswave, and wouldn't you know it, Nintendo decides to actually drop some pretty big information about their online service, which, guess what? We're just going to talk about now instead of putting in a Newswave tomorrow. And yeah, I didn't even get a chance to change my shirt, so guess what, Rax? You get into 2 videos, so, there you go. So, the Nintendo Online Service is something we've been asking questions about for quite a while now. When's it coming out? Okay, September. Great. It had been pushed back to September, but, we've been asking about it. Is it going to have cloud saves? What is it with the retro games? Will it have online service, like you're saying, with the retro games? Well, they answered a lot of those questions. They did a full website, they tweeted it out, and yes, the big one, there are going to be cloud saves. See, my old Nintendo Switch would be proud now. It had to kind of, move on to the great beyond of Nintendo Switches, which we'll work on bringing it back. But, hey, we have cloud saves now, or at least soon in September, so there you go. We'll have at least a way to back up our save games. I would still like a way to do it locally, but, I guess it's better than nothing at this point. It's just behind a $20 paywall. Anyway, so the cloud saves we don't know much about. We just know they'll be there, and I think for now, that's all we really want. We want a way to eventually back up our saves, and now we know, okay, we need to make it to September where their Switch is still in working order. We're not losing them or having them stolen. So yes, cloud saves are there. They said more information will follow ahead of the September release of the online service. Now, we also talked about those NES games that they kind of talked about that would be available. Remember they showed like Dr. Mario back then on their online site that they were kind of prepping for September, or just this information here in general? Well, they gave us a bit of a list, so we kind of know about some of the games that are showing up, and it's going to be a selection of 20 games to get started, and then they talk about adding more regularly, which is the most interesting part, because that could mean that, hey, anything from the NES could come over. It doesn't necessarily need to be just multiplayer games either, even though the online aspect is there. That's right, they talk about these online games having functionality, so the retro games will have the online functionality of, I guess, a regular multiplayer game that we enjoy now. So you can play, as they say, when close together or far apart. So if you're playing something like Balloon Fight, which is on the list that you're seeing here, you can do that. You just kind of sign in, and everybody, I guess, gets into a room. They'll have them all designed, and you'll see the games here: soccer, tennis, Donkey Kong, Mario Bros, Super Mario Bros, Balloon Fight, Ice Climber, Dr. Mario, Legend of Zelda, and Super Mario Bros. 3. This is exciting. This is great. But there always has to be one, I guess, issue with some of this stuff, and that appears to be that the online service will still use the dreaded phone app for voice communication. In fact, on that same page, after I'm gleefully reading down this, seeing that there are going to be 20 games to get started with, and they'll keep adding more online serves, and oh wait, what's this here at the bottom? It says, play together even when you're far apart. With online play added to every classic game, you can compete or cooperate online with friends, share your screen, or pass the controller depending on the game. With the Nintendo Switch Online smartphone app, you can also voice chat during your play sessions. So yes, the online voice chat app still appears to be in full effect for chatting back and forth, which is a bit of a downer and a little bit frustrating here with what we were hoping from this online, this online service. But take a look a little bit here as well. You talk about being able to compete against people or do co-op online with friends. Sharing your screen is pretty interesting as well. I'm curious how that would work out. I guess they can just see what you're playing maybe while it's going on. Passing the controller is pretty fun too, again, depending on the game. That means, I guess, if you're playing a game and they are connected to you, either online or locally or whatnot, I guess they can just take over your game. I don't know. That's interesting. I hope I'm not reading too much into this and they're just saying you can just pass the controller over to a friend, but that would be kind of neat to be like, I can't get past this part. Can you help me? Let's connect, and you can do this part of, say, Ice Climbers or Zelda or Mario Bros. For me. I like that idea, and I also like the idea of them adding more games regularly going forward because, well, anything in the NES library is open here and I would love to see them even do voting maybe. There's a lot of cool stuff they could do, but now the question becomes, what about games that are not NES games? What about Super Nintendo games? What about Game Boy games? I mean, they have a massive library. Are they only going to be doing NES games and then selling the other ones separately as one-time purchases? something we've come to expect with Virtual Console, or do they have something else in mind for this almost Netflix-style subscription service that they're offering? They also introduced a new pricing model with the family membership, as you see here, where you can pay $35, and that means that a Nintendo account holder may invite up to 7 others to join a family group. All members of the group will have access to Nintendo Switch Online. This is great for households or maybe a larger family or family in general. Maybe it can also be used for a group, because I know Xbox Live would do that too. They had their own like family membership thing where if 4 people bought in, they got it for like $25 for the year. I'm curious if this means that people can seriously just buy in for $35, split it up between 8 people and everyone's just in that group, or if this is specifically for being on one Switch, right? Because they want people to be able to pass around a Switch. I'm not sure. I'll need to see how that works in practice, but offering this kind of membership is great, again, for a large family that's in the same household that everyone wants to have their own online service or the way to play the online service. And if you have to start divvying up $20, that'd get pretty expensive. So they're kind of meeting consumers halfway with this. I think they also just want to be in people's households. I don't know how much this online service cost really means to Nintendo with what they're trying to do with the Switch. I mean, it's obvious that they're doing only $20 a year when the competition is doing $60. Nintendo probably could have got away with $40, right, for a year with what they're offering with the NES games and everything, possibly Game Boy games, but they're keeping it pretty cheap. But keep in mind, you won't be able to play online, as they also describe. Once this goes into effect, you will have to either pay the $20 or you won't have online service for things like ARMS, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart, all of the regular games that you play online now, you won't have access to. However, they do talk about in the FAQ that you will have access to the eShop to buy games. You'll also still be able to share pictures and stuff on social media, still send friend requests with your friends where you can register them and everything is still doable. You just won't be able to enter a game and play without that $20 per year. Finally, at the bottom, they do mention special deals and offers for people who are members of this online service that is paying members. And that's great because we do see that a lot with PlayStation and Microsoft, but Nintendo isn't generally the type to put things on sale much at all, especially at retail. So I want to see what kind of deals they will offer here, if they're actually worth it. Like, is it going to be like 10% off of, I don't know, Tropical Freeze or something? I'm not really sure what they're going to do with special offers and deals. I would like to see them kind of get on where they do maybe betas for different games. Maybe that ARMS Test Punch, for example, that we knew a while ago. Maybe that shows up in the special offers section, and if you're a member, you can join into like this beta program that they're doing for their upcoming game. Those are ways I think you can entice people that are enthusiasts or people who just want to try a game out as a demo, basically, for the beta, and they would have to pay the $20, per year. It's just another benefit, but we'll see what kind of deals they actually offer us, because Nintendo, they're kind of stingy with some of their deals. But my overall thoughts so far with this online service, I still don't know, I don't think we know everything about it, is good. I think it's a good start. But there still needs, I think, a little more to it. I want to see how we do the cloud saves, for example. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. I think you go into your back office, where you're looking at all of your backup saves and everything. Maybe there's a little button next to it that says backup to the cloud. That might be the way they go about it. Maybe even a funny little animation of like Luigi with balloons kind of going up the sky or something. I don't know. They'll pull something out for an animation for that, but at least that's happening, right? Because that's been the biggest fear, biggest worry of a lot of people with their Switch system. So I'm glad that a backup system of some kind is coming. We have to wait till September, but at least it's coming. I love the idea of the retro games being included as a Netflix type service. I want to see if any come out of circulation as well as being added in. They didn't say anything about taking them out. They just told us about adding more regularly. But does that mean that something like Balloon Fight has to come out, for something like, I don't know, Tetris or Contra or something to go in? That's kind of the question there. And then, of course, I just said it, but what about games other than NES games, right? Maybe maybe they get the Nintendo 64. Maybe they want to save that for the premium $8 prices and sell it to us all over again. How many times have you bought Mario World? Be honest. But so far, that's everything we know. We might find out more at E3. We might find out more in September, right before they launch it. I don't know if they could have really explained all of this in Nintendo Direct as concisely as they can with a website. So I actually expect them maybe just update this website as they go along, and that's kind of how they introduce the online service to us. Maybe they do a quick Direct, beforehand. Maybe they just have a tutorial on our Switch when we sign up for the online service and we kind of interact and figure out how it works. But I'm excited. I'm happy that at least this is shaping up. I'm disappointed with the online app still being there. I wish voice chat would have just been native to the system because it can do it, as we see with Splatoon 2 locally, where they have the LAN play and you can do it. But I guess this is just what they're doing with their online service, and I guess people will just have to live with it for now until maybe the next system when they integrate it in to the Nintendo Switch 2 or Pro or whatever they name it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the online service so far. Are you relieved to hear that, yes, cloud saves, they are coming? It's a thing, it's happening, just not until September. Are you a little annoyed that there may not be a local free way to back them up and you need to pay them? Maybe that will be something that's detailed and they're just telling us, guys, cloud saves are coming, don't worry. Make sure you guys let me know what you think about all this down below. Like the video if you liked it, guys. Disliked it if not. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.